Hello, everyone. Welcome to Here's the Story. This is episode 20. I'm on episode 20. Yay. I'm Amy Storrie with Stamped with Joy, and this is my weekly Facebook Live series. Just an online class where I just show you, feature a different product or technique or whatever, just different things every week. Anyway, I'm excited because today I'm going to share with you a 6x6 one sheet wonder using a 6x6 piece of designer series paper because we are in the last 3 days of our designer series paper sale. They're 15% off right now through June 30th, which is Friday. So just a couple more days after today. Hi, Rhonda. Glad you're joining. So anyway, I thought I'd feature some DSP because if you're like me, sometimes I kind of hoard it sometimes. Like I hate to cut it, and sometimes my favorite pattern is the one that I keep thinking, oh, I'm going to use that one, but wait, I don't want to use it yet, so I'll hoard it. Well, I chose my favorite pattern out of, or I should say one of my favorite patterns out of the pack of DSP I'm using today. But this particular template, you can also use it with 12 by 12 also. You can get 4 of the templates on 12 by 12. I'll explain it more in a minute. But anyway, so I thought it'd be a fun thing to share today. And also, I just want to mention that it's also the last couple of days of our starter kit promotion. Hello, Lanza. Yeah, I love this paper too. The Bright and Beautiful paper. It's probably one of my favorites in the catalog right now. The color scheme's right up my alley. Yeah, anyway, the last couple of days of the starter kit special too. So seriously, if your wish list is at least $99, it's kind of a no-brainer just to go ahead and sign up and get the starter kit because it just costs $99, free shipping. It's always free shipping. But during June, instead of $125 worth of products that you select, it's totally customizable, you get to select $155 worth of products. So, awesome deal. And yes, you'd be signing up to be a demonstrator, but again, what you do with that is totally up to you. You can use it to get a discount on your products. You can use it to start a business. You can do something in between. It just doesn't matter, but it's a great deal. So anyway, you can ask me if you have any other questions about that. You can always text me, email me, whatever. Message me on Facebook. So let me switch my camera and we will take a look at this. Okay. So this is the pattern. This is from the Bright and Beautiful DSP. Now let me show you the pack. It's 6x6 paper. You get 48 sheets. There is one pattern missing from this, what I'm showing right now, because I used it all. It's another one that I like too, and I can't even think of what it looks like right now, but anyway, so here's kind of a look at that's one side, and then you flip it, you've got a lot more kind of solids and kind of monochromatic designs on the back side. You can't see them all that well, but anyway, again, 48 sheets of DSP. There's 4 each of each pattern, and so with the template I'm going to show, I'm going to make 4 cards using this template, this one sheet wonder. Yes, Holly, you need this paper. It's beautiful. It's got, I was going to tell some of the colors. It's got Berry Burst, Azure Afternoon, Lemon Lime Twist, Pretty Peacock, Lemon Lolly. Beautiful colors in it. I love it. Anyway, so the template, let me show you the template really quick. Okay, so here it is. And I will try to take a picture of this and post it also, but hopefully you can pause this later when you're watching it and write it down or whatever too. But so this is how we're going to cut our 6x6. The only piece, like there's a little bitty 3/4 inch piece we're not going to use, although you could probably use it in some way on something. I kept it, but that's the only piece we're not going to use. We're going to use all these other pieces to make 4 cards. So let me show you also what I use. So this is the sheet I chose, which this is the other side. I'm going to use both sides of it. I love the Lemon Lolly, and that's the card base I decided to go with, was Lemon Lolly. And to do my 4 cards, it just took 2 sheets of cardstock. This one is cut in half this way, it's scored this way, and then this one I cut the opposite way. I cut it the lengthwise, scored it that way, and then cut it in half that way. But both of them, it's a full sheet of 8.5 by 11 cardstock. And then I also pulled in some Berry Burst for my accent color. Only a few pieces of white. I used these dies. These are my go-to shape dies, and all I used was 1, 2, 3. These 3 banner pieces to do my sentiments on. For the sentiments, and so I'm just using DSP and just sentiments. That's it. And I'm using the go-to greetings. I'm using the little cutesy looking font. That's my favorite font in here. I like all of them, but especially with this paper, I felt like it went with that. So that's the stamp set I used. And then I'm going to use the Lemon Lolly ribbon, and this ribbon comes in a trio pack. It's got 3 spools of this ribbon. I don't know if you can see, but it's got a little silver, very dainty silver edge on it. I love this ribbon, but it also comes with not powder pink. That's an old color. I always show my Stampin' Up age. Bubble Bath is another color in that paper, but it has Lemon Lolly ribbon, Bubble Bath, and then the Azure Afternoon ribbon. So you get 3 spools in a pack on that. And then the ink color I'm using is Berry Burst. And then I used the Tinsel Gems, the 4-pack. They coordinate well with this paper also. Because this is Blueberry Bushel, which I believe that color is also featured in there. And then this is, I think, Pretty Peacock and Lemon Lime Twist and Berry Burst are the colors of gems in that. Okay, so let's get started. I'm going to cut the paper first. So let me show you how to do that. I know that most of you probably know how to cut your paper, but you know what? Over the years, I'm amazed at how many people struggle with measurements, really and truly. So here's the template over here on the side, so you can see kind of, let me get it down where you can see it, so you can kind of see what I'm doing. So the first thing I want to do is cut this in half at 3 inches, because you can see that 3 inches right there is going to work. It's going to cut that in half. Then I'm going to work on this half. So this bottom section is 3 by 3, and that little top section is. So I'm going to cut that 3 by 3. The bottom one right here is cut diagonally. Super easy to do. Just put the tips along the track right there and just cut. And you have 2 diagonal pieces. Super easy. And then with this one up here, we're cutting it into 4 1.5 inch squares. So all I need to do is go 1.5 this way, 1.5 this way, 1.5 on that one. So then we have our 4 little pieces. So this is 1 card. These are for 1 card. And then over here, we're going to cut off a 1-inch strip right there. And I'm going to go ahead, and while I got the trimmer, we actually need this to cut down to 5.5 inches, which is the length of our card. So there actually is this little scrap you're not going to use, and that is small enough I throw that away. And then this one right here, we're going to cut into 3. It's already 2 inches that way. We're going to cut it into 3 2 by 1 3/4 inch pieces. So cut it at 1 3/4 here, 1 3/4 here, and another 1 3/4. And again, that's going to leave that little piece which, you know, if you do 4 of these sections, you would have 4 of these left, and so you could use that on a card somehow together, but I'm not doing that today. All right, so there's our 4 pieces. Let me get rid of my paper trimmer over here. Move that out of the way. Okay, so let's start with card number 1, which I am going to use the 4 squares on card number 1. So we have our 5.5 by 8.5 piece of lemon lolly cardstock. Scored that, and so we're going to fold that down, and then we need this piece of Berry Burst, which is, let me tell you what the size is here. Oh, I think I remember. It's 3 1/4. It's 3 1/4 by 4.5 is that size. And we are going to put, I say we, it's like you're doing it along with me. They're going to go like this. So I want to do 2 of them on that side and 2 on that. Okay, so let's stick those down. Get my adhesive going here. Uh-oh, I hope it's not out. No, it's not out. It's not. Holly, I'm surprised you don't have this one yet. This is a really good DSP pack. Like, even if you don't, it coordinates, of course, in the suite with the balloon set. Which I can't think of the name of it right now. Something beautiful. Beautiful Balloons, I think is what it's called. But even if you don't want like that stamp set that coordinates with it, the paper itself is really fun, I think. Really beautiful colors. The nice thing is this just uses up a whole sheet of your DSP. And like I said, you can do all 4 of the sheets and you'll get 4 times 4. You'll get, you'll end up with 4 each of these, so 16 cards. And if you're working with 12 by 12 paper, you could just do this, you know, cut it into 4ths and then do it 4 times also and end up with 16 cards. The nice thing is once you have template, I think you can easily make a lot of quick cards by just following that same template. You don't have to come up with a totally new design every time you stamp. You really don't. I like easy. Also like not easy, but when you need things quick, easy is great. Okay, so I'm going to cut a little piece of the lemon lolly ribbon and I'm going to wrap it around here. This is how I like to do my faux whatever, where it looks like it's wrapped all the way around and tied, but it's not, and you don't use as much ribbon that way. Stick it to the back, and then I'm going to go ahead and stick it down here, but I want to pop it up. So I'm using dimensionals. When it's a bigger piece, I like to put one in the middle to give it a little extra stability. Let's just put that down here. All right, and then I'm just going to take another piece of ribbon. I'm just going to leave it attached to my spool and do it. And I'm just going to tie it. I like you could just tie a bow and stick it on with a glue dot, but I've gotten to where I really like tying it actually around the ribbon because it does that little pull where it looks like it really is wrapped around and tied. But it's so much easier to do a bow than if you're having to hold it tight, you know, if you wrapped it around, you'd have to be holding it tight while trying to make the bow. This just makes it a whole lot easier. So I'm just gonna trim my ends now, cut this side a little shorter. Like that. Okay, and now we just need our sentiment, which on this one, I'm going to make it a happy birthday card. Here's my happy birthday. open our Berry Burst ink pad. And remember, you just want to, these are little bitty skinny letters. You do not want to press hard on your ink pad. I am very lightly tapping. I don't want to get it on my block. I don't want to get it on the edges. That's probably the biggest mistake people make, is pushing too hard in their ink pad. The only time you really need to push harder is if it's a big, giant, solid stamp. I'm going to practice this right here on my scratch paper to see if it's mounted crooked or anything. I think it's going to be all right. So let's do it like this. Okay, there we've got our happy birthday. Oh, I'm going to leave that out because we're using that on everything. Holly said, oh, she's watching on her phone and ordering on her computer. Well, I'm so glad that I could convince you to order that. That is funny. Yep, it's good paper. Okay, and I'm using a couple of mini dimensionals to also pop this up right here at the bottom, like so. And of course you can kind of adjust your ribbon where it's not interfering as much with your words, but it doesn't matter. Okay, and now just a couple of embellishments, because embellishments make everything look cuter, I think. So I'm going to do a couple of them, like right in this little, oh, there's a cat hair or something on there. So what a surprise, right? Those of you that have been to my house, I know you're really surprised that there's cat hair on stuff. And we have dogs too, so a dog. All right. I'll put a couple just up there in that corner just to add a little something. Okay, so there's card number 1. Fast. I didn't time myself, but it wasn't very long to do that. And that was including cutting up that piece of DSP. All right, so there's 1. Let's move on to card number 2. I'll bring them all back in later. Okay, let's use the other half of that sheet of Lemon Lolly. And this one is going to be the diagonal pieces that we cut. And to mount those on, I've got a 3 1/4 by 3 1/4 inch square of Berry Burst cardstock. And again, I want to use both sides of this, so I'm going to do like that and like that for this one. I actually really also love this Lemon Lolly striped pattern. I really like Lemon Lolly. It's a really nice pale, soft yellow, and I like yellow. And I love pink. So there we go. 2 of my favorite colors. Okay, that one goes here. Ah, there's a little more adhesive right there, but that's all right. Okay, so now this is also, oh, I'm going to do this card going landscape like this. So this is going to pop up right here. See, this is why I have my sample cards up there where I can see them, because otherwise I would not remember what I'm doing. Okay, I'm going to put it over on this side like that, and now we're going to use that same die piece, the long little skinny banner, and this one's going to be Thinking of You. I like Thinking of You for a sentiment because it can be so many things. It could just be generic, just a card, you know, just saying I'm thinking of you, whatever. And I'm going to stamp this over towards the right end of it. Or it could be a sympathy, you know. I mean, you could send it for lots of reasons. So I think Thinking of You is a good generic sentiment to put on a card, and you can use it for lots of things. Okay, and I want this to stick off right here. So I'm going to put dimensional on that end and a little adhesive on this end, because I want it to go flat on this but stick off the end. I put it about right here. That looks pretty good. Oh, I didn't peel the back off that dimensional. That'd be helpful. Okay. So there's that. And then we just need a bow, because you know, I'm going to have bow. There's going to be bows on all of these. It's a big surprise, right? Okay, bow tying lesson. I'll take this opportunity, make a loop like that, wrap it around, keep your thumb in there to keep that loop kind of big, and then make another loop and push it through, and then you just gently pull, and you just move it back and forth as you pull, and get that bow to how you want. You kind of twist it. This ribbon's a little slippery, so you kind of got to do a little twisting. And I don't want it too big. I'm making it pretty small. Just get it how you want it. You just keep playing with it. And then trim your ends. And I want to just pop this right here. So this one I'm going to put on with mini glue dot. Wrap it back like that. Press your bow onto the dot, and it pulls it off of there, and you just stick it on. Very, very easy. Mini glue dots are great for putting on bows like that. Okay, embellishments. I'm using Berry Burst on all of these. Put one right here, and then I'm going to put a couple up here, a big and a little, like that. Another one, quick and easy. Very, very quick. And they're simple, but yet they're cute. All right, I'm gonna set that one aside. I'll bring it back later. Let's go for card number 3. And this is the first one of the half of the cut lengthwise. So this one's gonna open that way. Okay, let me find my sample up here. All right. This one is we're gonna use that 1 inch strip we cut off, and we cut it down, remember, to 5.5 inches. I'm gonna double check that should be, yep, that's the right length. All right, and so this piece of Berry Burst is 1 1/8 by 5.5, and I'm just gonna put this down. On here. Center it on there. Okay, and then I am gonna wrap a piece of ribbon around this one like I did on that first one. Where are my scissors? So that, get it where I want it, adhesive on each end, stick that down like that. Okay, now I'm ready to stick it to the card. Make sure I got plenty of adhesive on the ends there. And I just want to leave a little bit of the yellow border on the end. Like that. Okay. Now we just need our sentiment, and on this one, I'm using that little kind of the short, fat banner die, and I'm going to do this one as a thank you. Let me see if this is on here straight or not. You never know. All right, so there's our thank you. And this, oh, hi Gabby. I thought I better look over and see what's happening on my comments. I haven't been looking lately. In this one, I want to pop up Put a couple of dimensionals on the back. And it's gonna go about right here. And then we need a bow up here, of course. So let's put some ribbon underneath here. And do a bow again. Again, I like it because it pulls the ribbon to make it look like a natural bow. I'm just going to make it a little smaller. Pull it tight. And then we're going to trim. And we need embellishments. Let's see here. We're going to put one right here and then a couple down here. A big and a little one. And I'm using my take your pick tool, by the way, to do the embellishments. You kind of want, like, you can't press down and pick it. It's not that sticky where it'll do that, but you kind of, if you push it like that, it pulls it right off. Love that tool. All right, there's card number 3 finished. We just have one left. Another quick and easy one, really quick and easy. All right, here is our last one. And we're gonna use the other half of that lemon lolly, the one that was cut lengthwise. And this one I'm gonna make it landscape and it's gonna open like that. Find my sample. Okay, and this is the one that had the 3 pieces that we cut off that are 2 by 1 3/4. And this piece is, I'm trying to remember, let me measure it and see. It is 2 1/4 by 5, yeah, 2 1/4 by 5 1/2. And so these are gonna go, I can't pick it up. They're gonna, the ones on the ends are going to go all the way to the end, like that, and then this one will go in the middle. Okay, so I'm going to stick the ends first because we know they go all the way to the end, and that way I can just center the other one in the middle. So let's put this right down here at the edge and try to kind of center it between the 2 ends. Centering is not always my strong point, especially when I'm kind of at a different angle. Okay, I'm going to do the other end. Right, and then this one in the middle. That way you could just center it right there. Okay, and we're going to have some ribbon again wrapped around. Oh, look, this is the last piece on here. I'm going to have to go get, I do have another spool of this. Thank goodness. Let me see if I can get this tape off the end of it. Sometimes I can, and sometimes, you know, it's kind of hard, but I actually want this whole piece. Yep, I got it. Okay. Look, it's like the perfect size, too. Don't you love it when it works out like that? None of it is wasted. And I want this up kind of towards the top right here. Okay, stick that like that. And this is going to stick down flat on here. Gonna go kind of towards the top with it. Okay. And then I'm using that little bitty banner out of the Stylish Shapes, and this one's going to be a hello. That's another greeting I like to use a lot because, again, it could be anything. You can just put on the inside, you know, write whatever you want it to say. You could even stamp happy birthday on the inside, or thank you, or whatever. It can say hello on the outside and be for anything. Let me put a couple of dimensionals on that, little mini ones. Love the mini dimensionals. I'm so glad they came out with those a few years ago. Because, you know, I don't like to cut my dimensionals. That's too much trouble. I like it when they're already the size they need to be. All right, so pop that up right there. Now let me grab my other spool here really, really quick so I can make, we can't have that. We need a bow. Pull that off of there. Okay, so we're gonna put a bow on this end. It's a good thing I had more of this, huh? Or it wasn't gonna have a bow. That would have been sad. It would have made me sad anyway. I hope that y'all will try this template with some of your paper and then post on this post, like post your pictures of what you make under this video. I would love to see. I would love to see all the different looks with different DSP, and plus you can do totally different designs with your pieces. It doesn't have to be what I did. It could be anything. All right, so there's that, and all we need again are embellishments. I'm gonna put one here, and another one. My phone's ringing. I'm gonna put another one right here. Could y'all hear that? I'm sure you could. Obviously you heard that. I think it was my mom FaceTiming me. Mom, if you're watching this, which you're probably not, or you wouldn't have, I'll call you back. Okay. So there is card number 4. Look, we have just made, I should say I have just made, but you've participated by watching. So we just made 4 super quick and easy cards. Let's put them all right here. There we go, with one sheet of 6x6 DSP using this template to cut it, which was so easy. So easy. Look, it is, oh, it took 30 minutes for me to cut up that paper and make 4 cards. Really, really quick and easy. So, anyway, y'all, seriously, use whatever paper you love. Try that template and make 4 cards and then post them under the comments on this video, because I would love to see what everybody else does with this template. And that is it for today. Don't forget about the DSP sale. It goes through Friday, so you have till whatever, midnight on Friday to take advantage of that sale and to take advantage of the starter kit deal too. So thanks so much for watching, everyone, and I will see you right here next week. Have a great rest of your week, and have a happy 4th next week too. Bye.